stubborn of how you do stuff. Here's the thing that I've always said to everything. If you're a baseball player and you go out there and you're struggling a little bit and you're hitting 200 and oh my God. I mean, I remember this stuff because I was a baseball player, remember? And I remember this stuff. People would say, well, Sam, how do I do this? I do this. I said, well, this is how you do it. And then they go up to bat and they do the same thing. They do the same thing. I mean, somebody would be using a 34-inch bat, and I'm like, the bat's too big for you. But they said, but that's how you get leverage and power. But you struck out 9 of the last 10 times. And you go up there again the next day, well, okay, I'll be better. And you strike out 3 more times. And I'm like, get a lighter bat, get a shorter bat, take a small swing and just put it in play. And you strike out 3 more times. This is stubborn. But not only stubborn, it's stupid. If you're trading well, okay, you're trading well, be happy. Fine. But if you struggle here and there, do something different. Why wouldn't you at least for a week set up your option list like me? And you can do it on here, you can do it on Thinkorswim, you can do it wherever you want to do it, right? You can do it wherever you want to do it, however you want to do it. I mean, this was a problem with other people we used to have on the call way back when. Stubborn, would lose money nonstop, can't make money at all, and think he knows what he's talking about. If you fail at anything in life, I don't care if you fail at anything, why would you do the same thing? Do something different. So then when I tell you, and you know, for some people, this is a secret, and I'm telling you, is you take something like on my screen, and you take a Roku, and you put it on the screen, and then underneath it, you have the Roku 570s and the 575s. And the Roku goes up $4, the 350s. 350s and 375s. The 350s go from 4 to 8, but the 375s don't move. Well, they should move. Well, you're right, Sam, they should move. But you're watching both of them and you're seeing it doesn't move. That tells you he doesn't think it's going to break up. This is so ridiculously simple. This tells you, the premium tells you. And you can't just watch one, you got to watch many, and you got to watch it over years and years and years, and you learn this stuff. People like, Sam, I want to do this. I want to be able to take 20 grand to 200 grand this year. I'm like, what did you do last month? Well, I struggled. I lost like 1,500, and then I made 1,000 this month. And all of a sudden, you're going to make 180,000. How are you going to succeed? You haven't figured out how to make any money. Look at GME go. GME is going nuts over it. This thing is going to squeeze. This looks like 262. AMC looks like it's going to go absolute nuts too. Watch this AMC. If this takes out 21, this could be 29 on AMC. Okay, so back to the premiums because GME's gone. NVIDIA's gone. And Lam Research is gone. These are all, this is like yesterday didn't happen. Google, all these are right back to where they were like yesterday didn't happen. And then we see, okay? So, but what I'm trying to tell you is if something doesn't work for you, don't do this stuff, well, 2 years ago it worked. The market changes. Everything changes. The dynamics change. Okay? Then see. Victor is saying AMC got multiple downgrades today and it's going down. I don't even know what AMC was, but it was 17 something when I woke up. Yeah, 1760. So it continues to go. I think if this AMC can squeeze like you can't believe. Then we see. Okay? But they're all moving. Amazon, everything's moving today. Let's see if it's real. It's real. Okay? People you follow. So your secret is set up the screen and look at the premiums. Watch the premium. And you'll notice stuff. You'll start learning stuff. You'll start learning on a Thursday. If shop is 50 points out and it moves 10, the premium is still not going to move. Because it still has to move 40 more points. And you can become a great trader. Okay? Okay. Tesla. I mean, ridiculously simple. If it trades at 616 today, it's going to get legs. Snowman has earnings. Today, 2 earnings. And what we haven't had huge rippers on earnings at all. Not a one. People are going to say, oh, this stock or this stock. These are not the stocks that people play. The stocks that people play, the bulk of them, has not had one ripper. But Snow, ridiculously hard 244. If it gets through, probably 276. Can it get through? I don't know. Everything tells me it can't, but who knows? NVIDIA looks like it can go to 702 and 810. Jesus. Almost like, if it goes to 810, I'm going to buy my own Minnie Mouse. I'm going to go buy a Minnie Mouse. Interesting. Like, I'm buying a Minnie Mouse house outside for my kids. Interesting. GME, I told you, if 209 breaks, it's going to get legs. If you liked it, should have been in it at 209. Interesting. So ZS is ripping after earnings. What is ZS? Zscaler is nice. That's a nice move. 19 points is a nice move. That's actually a very nice move. That's foreshadowing, if you know what foreshadowing, telling you what's possible on Snow. Very interesting. A couple other things. I know what it is. I know what Zscaler is. I'm just haven't been watching it. Facebook. Facebook has a stockholders meeting. Will they guide? I don't know. But here's what I know. Nobody is opting into iOS. Now, things that Sam knows and things that Sam doesn't know. What Sam knows for an absolute fact is there's an impact to iOS and Facebook. But what Sam doesn't know, and see, this is why Sam is different than everybody else. He tells you, I don't know what that impact is. I don't know if it's a nil. So here's the thing I say. If you make $1 billion, not a million, $1 billion, and you lose 20 million in sales, who cares? See, things that analysts don't pay attention to. Let's say, and let's do this a different way. Let's make the numbers easy so you can understand. So Omid has a business that makes $1 million a quarter. But somebody made a change and he's going to lose $2,000, 2%. Is that right? 2%? No, $20,000. He's going to lose $20,000, 2% of his sales. He's going to lose $20,000. But his growth rate is 50%. So let's say growth rate is 50% a year, so it's 12% a quarter. So he's supposed to go from 12%. So he's supposed to go from $1 million to $1,125,000. Right? So he's supposed to make $125,000 more. But he lost 2% of his business, so he's going to lose $20,000. So he's still up 10% for the quarter with that change. See, this is why FSLY is a piece of garbage stock. They're telling you we're growing at 100%, and they lose some business or something, and they lose $1 million in sales, and they can't make that $1 million up. How is that possible? If you make $100 million in revenue, just making it up, and you're growing at 50%, You should be doing $50 million more in revenue by the end of the year. So you lose $1 million and you're supposed to grow by $50 million. That's why the stock goes down $40. Because people say, it doesn't make sense. You're lying, CEO. You're garbage. And don't play garbage companies. Move forward. Move to the next one. Okay, move to the next one. And you can do great. Today, Roku. Roku got to 355 yesterday. If it gets over 353 and closes, technically this can absolutely go nuts. Can it get there and close? I don't know. This GM is really about to it's about to go to 252 here. Okay? Then we see. Shopalicious. We added some shop and somebody said, Sam, it's going down. I said, yeah, but there's only a half hour left. It's going to go back up. And it's up 10. So if you bought those with us, you're going to be up $1. You're going to be up $1. Take that $1. Okay, last thing before we get to Omid is people really, really, really need to understand and watch the video. Watch the video. You will become great. Watch the video. If you're buying options and you put in 10 grand worth of options in 5 positions, just making it up, and you sell the first position for 10 grand, and you sell the second position for 10 grand, you put in 10, you've already taken out 20. You banked 20. And you still have 3 positions. You banked 10 grand profit no matter if everything goes to shit. You're up 10 grand for the week. So I post that. And I said, Sam, are you holding this overnight? Now, 2 things there. Why does it matter what I'm holding overnight? How does that help you? And people have said, well, that gives us a warm fuzzy. But I said, how does it help you? I'm expecting it to go to 0. I already banked my 10K. I'm good with it going to 0. But you're holding it. You don't get it. You have to get it. I play my account as a whole. I look at it on Monday, and I look at the cash. If my account's at 50 grand, I'm making up numbers, and I have 30 grand cash, that means I have 30 grand. Everything goes to shit, I have 30 grand. So if I go look at it on a Tuesday and I have 60K in there, when I started at 50, I'm like, I'm up 10. Everything goes to shit, I'm up 10. I trade my account like I'm up 10. I don't trade it like I bought a position that's sitting there going up or down. I don't do that. And if you do that, you can be great. Let's see what happens. I don't know what happens. Let's see what happens. In theory, all the techs run today, and then we see. The news flow is good. Facebook news will come. If Facebook says no impact from iOS, it's absolutely going to hit 341 today. Not 331, 341. And Google's going to fly. Okay? If Lam Research takes out 653, yesterday I had a comment at near the end of the day, will Lam Research try 650 again? And I'm like, it might. We sold those. Why did we sell them? To cover all the other stuff and have a profit. Look at Jim. Mr. Omen, what's going on, buddy?
Well, pretty quiet this morning. You're getting more retail names reporting. Futures, very volatile overnight, but green. When was the last time we had kind of back-to-back green? Yesterday was kind of a flat day. I thought yesterday's price action was positive, kind of considering the run we've had from the bottom on Thursday, Friday, Monday, and then Tuesday. You really had a flat day, and lots of tech names held green despite Nasdaq going negative slightly. So you didn't see give back at all, right? So that's interesting. Just following price action, taking the bias out of it. You know, whatever the Fed said, whatever the, you know, inflation fears or not, all that stuff. But, you know, right now the market is basically, you know, reversed itself, and tech is in favor again. It's been a while since actually, um, excuse me, it's been in favor, right? So anyways, let's see what happens today, right? So yesterday was a fairly flat day. I pointed out yesterday, you know, market has been just for the last 2 months really, and just a range. I mean, a big range here in the Qs here, but you see we're kind of back to the scene of the crime where the market sold off here, and we're holding. You know, we're holding here in the last 2 days. Let's see what happens today. You know, same thing with the SPX, background 4200. 4238 is the high, but you see we're kind of holding in this range here. So let's see what happens. But you know, tech looks good. And when was again the last time you had back to back green you know, futures, right? The future markets in the past just it wasn't sure. I mean, it was either flat to slightly down, you know.
Let's ask Omid a question, a quiz. Omid's like, you know, I used to be 100% student. Now, you know, my 98 or 100. Here we go.
Yeah.
If Nvidia rips to 660 and Snow goes to 250, what? And the next day they both hold. What would you say?
I'd say that's change in trend in earnings and tech. Because
Very simple. You would say something's different. This is different.
Well, yeah, it's
because everything goes down.
Because every tech name, like you said, and like we pointed out, has been sold, you know, pretty hard.
So that's what we want to see, right? That's what we want to see if it's different. And if it's different, then you attack, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Jag is asking, can you give us the tip? I already did. I started with it. Did you miss it? Set up your screen and watch premium. And if the stock moves and one of the premiums higher up doesn't move, that's telling you something. If they're all moving, that's telling you something. Nobody will ever teach you this the rest of your life. It's godlike tip. Okay? Interesting. AutoZone raised.
Sam shared his screen yesterday. That was you know, pretty good, and you know, he calls out you know, different stuff that he likes, and I mean, you can put those premiums up and watch it.
I told you yesterday that the Googles were too cheap, and I told you the shop were too cheap near the close, right? They were 360. They're 3 to 360. They're going to open at 5. If it takes out 1272, they're going to be 8. If it takes out 1281, they're going to be 12. If it gets to 1300, they're going to be 16. It's going to be 16. Interesting. But it doesn't matter if it goes down and you lose 3. If it's a cheap play and it moves 10 points, you're going to catch almost a double. That's the whole thing. That's what you're looking for. But what I'm looking for today is 2 things. Now, you actually have 3 things to look for here. 3. You have this Z-scalar, which is up. You want to see Z-scalar stay up 20 points. It's up 19. It needs to stay up 20. And tomorrow it needs to move 10 more. What does that mean? It needs to go up 20, Omid, and then it has to have a second day, right? That tells us something is different. And then you want Snow to hit 244, and you want Nvidia to go to 650. That would be different. Sam, what are you looking at Amazon? Amazon's very straightforward here. It needs to take out 3,300, right? It needs to take out 3,300 to get legs. Then we see. Okay? Any chance of you sharing your screen today? You can go look on private Twitter and it's posted there. The screen is posted there. Now I got messages saying, Sam, can you help me with it? Post an Excel file of your screen. The screen is there. Go into Active Trader, go into your watch list on wherever it is, and type in the name of the stock, and then underneath the name of the stock on the next line, type in the option. Maybe it takes you 20 minutes to do it. Maybe it takes you 5. It takes me less than 5 minutes. You know why? I have my watch list. I enter spaces, and then I do a cut and paste. I put the name of one stock in there, say it's Lam Research. So Lam Research, the way option pricing is at Fidelity, you got 21 is the year, 05 is the month, 28 is the date, C is for call, P is for put, and then the strike. So you just copy that, and you change and put it under NVIDIA, then put it under Shop, and then put it under Roku. Well, okay, I copied it, but it's wrong, Sam. Yeah, because now you go to underneath NVIDIA and you just change LRCX to NVDA and change the strike price. That's it. You're just changing a couple characters here, there, here, there, here, there. It's a cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. Okay? Why is ISRG the key? Because ISRG was the first earnings play. It was the first play that ran $70, $60, $70. So if it gets the high of year, you could call it high of year. It goes back to that 895. That's telling you it's time for everything that hit a high on earnings to go back and hit the high, right? Interesting. When it says Sam is teaching. Why is LRCX the key? Okay, so for some newer folks, before you can make a chip, before you can make a memory chip, before you can do anything, to make anything, first thing you got to do, you got to design it. You got to hire designers and design it. Okay. Then you have to buy the equipment that makes the chip. So AMAT, KLAC, ASML, LRCX are the 4 big companies, there's Teradyne and some other ones, that make the equipment that make the chip. Okay? You can't make a chip. You can't build a computer before you buy the chips. You have to buy the chip. You can't make a car till you buy the chip. You can't buy the chip till the companies make the equipment to make that chip. You need silicon, and you need the wafers, and you need a fab, a clean fab, where everybody wears all this equipment and stuff, where you don't get nothing in it that degrades performance. So that's why Lam Research and AMAT are the key. Now here's another thing. Lam Research and AMAT, maybe 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, will drop 30%, maybe 40% from where they are today before the chip cycle fails. Why is that, Sam? Because if there's a glut of chips, and there's not a glut of chips right now, you're years away from a glut. But when there's a glut, everybody's going to stop ordering. So then you won't need to buy the silicon. You won't need chip making equipment because you're not going to need the chips in 6 months. So that stuff, people buy ahead of time. It's 6 to 9 months ahead of what's really going on. Okay? Hope that helps. Okay, Omid, last thing. What else you got? Anything else? Hope everybody learned.
No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No. And I mean, I put a lot of stuff into today. Hope everybody learned. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, good stuff. The glut of chips, interesting. Usually, when that happens, that's indication that there are less orders and maybe a slowdown, right? So that's the other way of looking at it, right? So That's why this chip shortage on the semi space is so positive, in general, and Sam has been saying, now finally the price action is helping. So I'd like to kind of see this group, hold up, obviously, and take more leadership, right? So yeah.
All I want to see Snow blow 25 points and NVIDIA go another 30, and they both have a second day. And if that happens, Friday is going to a day that you can't imagine, Omen. Because if Snow tonight and tomorrow rip to 260, I'm just making up stuff. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it goes to 0. And then Thursday has, that's Thursday. And then Friday it has a second day. You're going to see everybody buy. Everybody buy. Everything. And then we see. Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everybody. 5:26. Stocks go up, stocks go down. I hope everybody enjoyed that. A lot of stuff. I recorded the whole thing. This is a long call, okay? This is what we do every single morning on this. Usually on the recording, you only get the levels. Today I recorded the whole thing, okay? Huge stuff. People can ask questions. I answer them. I address them. And you want to see different. In trading, the most important thing is not your chart. Your chart is garbage. Throw it away. Look at premiums, okay? But the most important thing is a word that I use is called different. Different. If something always goes up, if Google always goes up 20 to start the day and then drops 10, if it goes up 20 and it drops 2, that's different. Different changes stuff. Okay? Different means it's different. The action is going to be different, and pay attention. Okay? SPX up, 12? Puts it back at 4,200, 4,209, 4,232. Underneath 4,152 would be bad. Lam Research, 653. It may go to 653 and drop 30 today. It may go to 653 and rip 30. Why did Sam sell yesterday? Sam, why did you sell LRCX? There were 4 to 9. You could have got 10 if you held another half hour. Or I could have got 5 because I held that other half hour and didn't sell. Right? But I sell things around inflection points, or I buy around inflection points. If it were to take out 653, it's going to go crazy. But if you're sitting on 150 contracts or 200 contracts or even 10 contracts, and they go 4 to 9, Sam's telling you, well, wait a second, it may drop 20 points in 5 minutes. Your 9 is going to go to 1. Why wouldn't you take the 9? Because 653 is hard. NVIDIA, 636, 652, 680. Now, here's one other thing. Tesla announced a split. Then Tesla announced earnings. And Tesla went down on earnings. And then about a week or two later, it started its run into the split, and it became insane. Does NVIDIA give you a chance if it drops on earnings to say 610 and then rip to 700 on the split? But here's the thing. They haven't even announced a split date. So we don't know. Shopalicious, 1272. Roku, 355. GME, 252. Underneath 209 bad. TTD, 572, 609 really needs 652. Underneath 498 bad. Coin, a little bit better, starting its run back up, 272, 291. Under 209. Baidu, a little bit better, 223. Goldman Sachs, 369, 376. Amazon, 3292, 3332 is huge. all about. So here, I told you this right away. Right away, they got an antitrust, and immediately everybody said, "Oh my God, they're going to crash." I said, "What happened on Google antitrust? The stock went higher. Oh, Amazon went higher." You have the playbook. OIH. Sam hasn't been in OIH, and I've had people send me messages the last 10 days. Every single day. Can I buy OIH? I'm like, why? It's not moving. Why are you going to go buy something that doesn't move? ISRG, 863 now. Facebook, all about what they say about iOS today. If 331 is gone, this is 646 today. If they guide up, let's see what happens. Googlicious, 2382. Snowman, 244. Tesla, 616. Wow. Okay. Amazon call was great. Comments, questions. Voting on the split, June 6th, I believe. That means if it's approved, the split is effective the 20th. So it looks like there's already a date. Interesting. 20th. Then we see. Thank you for all this information. Blah, blah. ZS, no NVIDIA tells. Great, Sam. Thank you. That was epic. Will there be a rebalancing on Friday? Oh, rebalancing. So let's go to Omid here real quick. Omid had some positions on the rebalance. He has the list. Go ahead, Omid.
It's the MSCI basically rebalancing for developed worlds and emerging markets, and it's not really tech heavy. There's some small.
It's the momentum index, right? It's the momentum index.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's as of Friday's date, but it's not huge. I looked at the names, and none of the names that we really traffic in. And so, I mean, I just don't see much of an impact from it. So,
okay, interesting. I would agree. But here's the thing. Think about this. Who's going to pay attention to buy the banks? Think about this. Let's go buy the banks. Really? Makes no sense. When something makes no sense, don't listen to other people. Chill. If you think Sam doesn't make sense, the same thing. Okay? It's just information. Do your homework. Everybody have a great trading day. Listen to this 3 times. Set up your screens. Get smarter. Let's see what happens with tech. Thanks, everyone. See you.